Yeah, 9th of October. Yeah. Toyota. Yeah. There's Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math. And over here, that's Imli Tala over there. And just behind that tower is Bhakti Bhai Baba Puri Maharaj's mat. Oh. So they're just looking out, and I don't know if you can notice it, but that there's a red, there's a red temple, the top part of a red temple over there. That's Gopal Bhavan, right in front of Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math. Of course, that's Seva Kunj over there. You never see that. Okay. So any direction that you look out here in Vrindavan, it's purifying. Any direction. There's so much to see. If I just go one up more, if I had the energy, I go up one more, and I could show you so much. If I have energy, I'll go up. If I don't, we'll have to forget that one. Okay, I was able to lift the top up. Yeah, there's Rup Sanatan Gaudiya Math. Ha Jai. Narayan Maharaj Ki Jai. Then just the tower just right over there, that's Gopal Bhavan. Let's see. Hang on. That is the temple built by Sanatan Goswami for his deity, Radha. There's two names for his deity, Radha Madan Gopal and Radha Madana Mohan. So Gurudev made a nice comment. He says, "Oh, Radha Madan Gopal, somewhat Vatsalya," where Radha Madan Mohan is Madhurya. So that was nice to know. But most of the people remember Radha Madan Madan. Okay, there we go. Just lifting the gate for getting up here is a little hassle. Looking up that way, Sheer Ghat and places like that. Now, if you were following the different winds coming down, with all the winds coming with the monsoons and everything, it was really incredible. At that point, every time the southern winds came, it'd be a clear day. So then, when the monsoon actually passed by us and was gone for quite a few days, then all of a sudden a southern wind came, and this was right on October 7, and it hit Vrindavan right at the time that most of the Gaudiya Maths, including ISKCON, are starting their parikrama. Right around 6 o'clock morning time it hit. So that's like strategic, because the whole parikrama marg was flooded with devotees going out. And of course the rain came, and most people got wet. Now the rain, I was looking at the situation, and I was thinking, well, it's not totally coming from the south. It didn't go over the Gangas and come back. It wasn't totally coming from the south. But I was looking at the overall map of India, and in the north part there was really heavy rain. Himalaya is really got hit this year. Meaning Himalaya, and that's the place in the Himalayas. That was hit, and it's still being hit by a lot of rain. Like it's stuck there. Now, coming down, the only place, not even Delhi showed any rain. But coming down, only a little bit to the southeast of us was rain clouds. And that's exactly what was blown in. And it was only blown in for about 2 days. Yeah, just about for 2 days it was blown in. Because now we got the, mostly we have the north winds. So it's keeping it pretty well clear, but cooling everything off a lot. So I was amazed. Because I that day on the that was 7 was Purnim, so on the day after the 7th, Pratipada. Oh, today is, okay. Okay, so on Pratipada I was going to go to Shirgat, and from Shirgat I was going to come all the way back to Vrindavan by my inflatable boat. But they said that Shirgat was flooded. Yesterday we didn't get hit by so much rain, but Shirgat, that area got hit a lot. Hard rain. And hail too. So it became really flooded. And you can't tell from here. And it'd be nice if I walked down and showed you, but the River Yamuna went back up. At least 3 feet. At least 3 feet she came back up. And she has to come back up, about 15 to 20 feet to come back onto the, Parikram Marg. But she pretty well got flooded, and those currents down there are very fast. Meaning that, everybody else these currents weren't so fast during the flood because downstream everybody was flooded. But because everybody was now thinking that there was not going to be a flood, then there wasn't so much water in the southern places. So now the water is just flowing very fast, so rapid. I was sad that I wasn't able to go to Shirgat and come down, because it'd be twice as fast I'd get to here to Vrindavan, because those currents are really strong and nice. Okay. But let's take a view. I'm giving my viewpoint, and that's Imli Tala. And there's no Chatri. I can't see any top part on Gopinath Pavan, but there is. It's just that Imli Tala is so tall that you can't see it. And then if you look over there, yeah, that's Bhakti Bhai Baba Puri Maharaj's. And being at the Rangaji temple is quite far from here, but you can see it from here. Just, take a good look. That's the Rangaji temple, the top part of the Rangaji temple. Nice view. Nice view. The whole thing is a beautiful view. So, but what am I seeing? I can not see reality. I can see, and it seems strange, but I can see decimal. Decimal means reduction. My eyes, everything, it reduces everything by the system of decimal. Whereas the eyes of a saintly person are, they are seeing union. Decimal is reduction. Reduction means to part. So my mind deduces, comes to conclusions by, okay, it's not this and it's not that. I can see that it is this. But of course, if I get closer, it isn't that either, it's this. So mine is more like a reduction mind. Whereas the mind of a spiritual person is more like a completely together line. So just to say something, Radharani, she does pray to the wind. And she knows him by name, Pavan. Pavan. And she prays in a way that she knows that Kamdev is his messenger also. Well, Kamdev is giving potency to Pavan. Kamdev, for Madhurya activities, is giving potency to Pavan. So he is the carrier of the potency of Kamdev. So Radharani in separation is feeling that I may leave my body at any moment. So another side of Pavan is that he's in control of the life heirs. So she is praying to him to please come. She's just, please, please, please come. And after you give me a moment, just a moment even of just seeing or some way having contact with Krishna, then you can take my life heirs. All my life heirs, you can take them away from me. So here, we would say, oh, she's personifying. No, Pavan, in her eyes, she's looking for the purity only. So Pavan's position also is to give pleasure. Even everybody in the summer loves a fan. That's Pavan, because it cools you off. That's his Pavan. So his potency is with him to give great pleasure and give a sense of, in other words, our senses are relying on the life heirs and the life heir movements. So she's praying deeply to him, saying that at any moment I may leave my body. Krishna has gone to Mathura, left me here. Any moment I'll leave my body. So you can come and you can take my life heirs, but just give me a glimpse of Krishna. Just give me a glimpse of Krishna. So, but why somebody wants to reveal something so intimate of Radharani? Because this is the natural way of somebody who can see the truth. And if you want to see the truth, you have to try to see in this way. So Pavan, he says, you have declared me to be the one that takes the life heirs too, and that's not such a nice job. So I have to do my duty. I have been given the duty of doing that, so I'm having to do it. And she tells him it's all right. That is okay. So even looking at him as taking my life heirs out of me, that is all right. Everything's still a loving relationship. The activity of Pavan doesn't rely on whether it's Radharani or it's Krishna or anything like that. It's always going to be the same. That's his nature. He has to do it. So then he tries to go a little bit deeper. Pavan says, well, I also come from Malayan hills, and in the Malayan hills there's many snakes in the trees. And they also have air coming out of their mouths. They're hissing, their air's coming out. All this airs are so contaminating and everything. And again, Radharani says, that is their nature. They'll always be envious, and that's their nature. That's the correct way for them to act. It's not incorrect. So she goes all the way from the topmost, the one that's going to give you love, to all the way to the person who's envious. And no, I love him. I love the topmost, and I love even the envious. So that is our vision. That's the Vaishnava's vision. To see what the nature is, and to love that nature. Whether it's a very good nature for me at the moment, or if it's not a good nature, still, we have to learn, because it's all coming from Krishna. The whole network, whatever you point at, it's coming from Krishna. They have to use Krishna's energy. They have to try. They can't even use it. It just goes through them. They look like they're the user, they're the manipulator, but it's actually just going through them. Everything has its duty to do. Everything has its duty to do. AI has its duty to do. Even the fruits and vegetables have their duty to do. So they all have them, Yeah. So that is the correct way to see this world. Yeah. Instead of a decimal, the Greek philosophers, the great Greek philosophers, they warned the Greeks not to take hold of the system that the Babylonians were doing. And the system that the Babylonians were doing were decimal system. It was set up as a decimal system. So how were they measuring? They were using double. Always double. So, but then one comes to say that, you have to use one. Yes, one, but I'm still seeing double. So how is that? Krishna, a statue of a murti of Krishna is not just Krishna, it's Radha and Krishna. A murti of Vishnu is not just Vishnu, it's Lakshmi and Vishnu. So we don't see separation. And then maybe you could say, because in Prabhupada, when he was translating Bhagavatam, he's using the language that we can use to understand what's coming on. He used the language in the 3rd canto, 11th chapter, even the first verse, 3rd canto, 11th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. He used the verse Anu, and he gave it the definition of atom. Now we know the atom has got neutrons, protons, electrons, and everything, but he just wants to give the smallest thing that we can see. Now, to continue, that's that point we got it worked into us for schooling and things like that. But the next point is very difficult to conceive. In the word for word, the next verse, it points out that Anu is eternal. And it's not mixed with anything. Okay? So, not mixed means there's no time to give a limitation to that Anu. There's no space to give a limitation to that Anu. So, how to identify that Anu? We identify everything by time and space. There's nothing that you can tell me that isn't identified by time and space. So, one thing is that the Anu that they're talking about in the Bhagavatam is not limited by time and space. And then it goes on to say, and they are individuals. Now that is hard. How can I see them as individuals if there's no limitation? And how does it become limited? That is the illusion. So in reality, all that I'm seeing, all that I'm hearing, every particle, it is not under the limitations. If I get down to the ultimate particle, which is the soul, by the way, if I get down to the ultimate particle, the soul, then we see, or we try to see, we see that no limitations. No limitations of time, no limitations of space, and they're eternal. And then we combine and say all of this, every atom, they may crush an atom into electrons, protons, and everything, but you can understand the use of the word Anu, the smallest particle that is not visible to us. Because Maitreya is talking to Vidura. So he's telling them, this is the smallest particle that's not visible to the living entity. At 1/10,000th of splitting of a hair, that's the size. If you split a hair 10,000 times, then 1/10,000th, the splitting of a hair. That is the size that you could try to do. Which is practically impossible. Yeah. So we are surrounded inside, outside our body by innumerable living entities. Innumerable living entities. Souls. Souls that may be going up. Souls that may be going down. And they are attracted by us, by our desire to go up. If we have a desire to go up, we attract those types of living entities. If we have a desire to go down, okay, then down we will go with the help of other living entities in the same position. Our whole body is made up of 53 trillion, 53 trillion nanogenes, genomes, genomes. They're very small genomes. Yeah. So the person would say, well, I'm going to have to love 53 trillion genomes because they can't see, they can't hear, they can help me see, help me hear, but they can't do it themselves. So I'm directing all this. I'm up here on top of this hot top. I didn't think it would get so hot. Sorry, boys, down on my feet. Didn't want to take you through this. Yeah, I just wanted to get you to see. And in a certain way, it's been very merciful because you can see the dirt over there. There is some brown. She did leave some silt on that side also. Silt is a very good product that the river carries that helps the plants and everything. Yeah, so she did leave quite a bit over there. And I hope you can grasp. Oh, and the other part is that Pavan, he was thinking, okay, now Radharani is praying for me to come, and I have to come out of this area of the Malayan hills, and I'm carrying the poisonous airs also of the snakes of the Malayan hills. So what is my only recourse? I have to do something. So south of us, And, you know, north of the Malayan hills, there's a lake where Sita was said to have bathed and everything. I think it's Kinkadi Lake or something like that. And he decided, okay, I'm going to take shelter of Garuda, because Garuda is the one who removes all these snakes. And then when I'm passing by Kinkadi, I will take advantage. Now, the air having to bathe in Kinkadi, it doesn't need to, because the humidity of the air is up above her. But he can feel that air and bathe in it. And then, of course, just a little bit more north is the Triveni. So naturally, Pavana is going to bathe in that Triveni. And then he'll come to the Yamuna, and of course, Yamuna will purify him. So, definitely, Pavan, when he reaches Radharani, has gone through so much but it's like purification that he's desiring. And he is understanding that, oh, I'm so impure for being with all these snakes and everything. And I don't want to bring something to Radharani in such an impure way. So, anyways, back to what happened. The southern winds blew on the day of Prikram starting, 6 o'clock in the morning. I took bath in the Yamuna. I take bath, you know, when the sun starts coming up. So I took bath, you know, and just as they're coming by, a rainstorm with heavy wind. I mean, like really heavy wind. Like to everybody's surprise. Every Gaudiya Mat, ISKCON, everybody was surprised at that one. But that's how she is. If she wants to blow, and like I said, the northern tips of India had rainstorms. And in the south, you always know there's going to be some rainstorms still, but they were not so much on the west side of India, they were only on the east side of India. So there wasn't that many rainstorms predicted. And here the rainstorm came and hit us. And it hit for 2 days. And the Yamuna Devi did go up. Okay. I hope that gives some insight on how we should really try to see this world. Oh. I think the explanation of the when you're using the bi system, the binumerical system. When you use the binumerical system, you can look it up with Pingala. There's a famous song, you know, in the Bhagavatam where the prostitute Pingala. And also, Pingala is also the left side of the brain. Let's see, is that right? Yeah, that's right. The left side of the brain is Pingala. And Ida is the right side. So Ida is Chandra, cooling and nurturing. But although it's on the right side, the left nostril is the one that's identified. So there's a crisscross. One is coming, Ida is crossing over from the right side to the left, and Pingala is crossing over from the left side to the right. So there's some adjustment, you know. So you don't really know the difference. Just just in that area, it's a little difficult. I'm old and not so sure-footed, but we'll see. Okay. Manasarovara is right over there. Just straight, if you were to walk straight about 2 kilometers, that's Manasarovara, where the lake was made by the tears of Radharani in Man. She was very angry at Krishna, and she made her tears flooded, and that was Manasarovara. And then just straight over there where that little white thing, and you go, if you go in a kilometer, not 2 kilometers, but about a kilometer and a little bit more, you'll come to Blvd. And the reason why they call it Blvd is because there's a bale tree there with 5 leaves. Everybody is used to seeing a bale, you know, like the leaves, the accumulation of the leaves. They see it in threes, but not there. It's in 5. So that's why they came, and that's where Lakshmi sat and did meditation. Gurudev says she did come over, but as a sweeper lady. Narada brought her over as a sweeper lady. But from everybody's point of view, she just sat on that side. So you got the whole Blvd over there. That red, I don't know if you can see it so much, but that red is Manasarovara. That red right over there. So it isn't that far to walk to. Yeah. Yeah. And of course, up the river is Shirgad. Okay, so we'll leave it at that. See you later. Well, I was lucky. I was able to close this door. You know, this is all like iron. It's heavy. And you gotta lift it from a flat position and then shut it. Oh. And for, you know, I have enough strength, but the balance, the air balance in older people, it's not so good. That's the big problem. It's not so much the muscle, it's the air problem. Okay. Oh. Okay. I hope you got some insight on the feelings of Radharani, the Jiva, every one of this, whatever this is made of, and everything. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, all that's made, the floor, the iron, everything, it's made from Anu, the smallest particle. And the movement of this, by the movement, and this is important to know also, that when 2 Anus combine, okay, there is a movement there. But one Anu does not restrict the other Anu in time and space. So it's only, you could say, one dimension. But when those 2 Anus have, you know, manifested 6 more, or, you know, 4 more, then those 3 pairs, the pairs. So right there, this is the establishment of, we don't want the decimal. You destroy what has created this. And there's beauty in the creation. The illusion, okay, the illusion illusions us, and we don't see right and everything, but still this illusion is beautiful, how it's been manipulated. Everybody thinks of, oh, the jets can now go Mach 8, you know, 8 times the speed of sound. Oh, how wonderful. But here, 1 Anu, unlimited, and another Anu, with unlimited space and time, they come together. And they don't restrict each other when they come together. It's impossible for me to understand. And then that has two other pairs. So you got 6 pairs, and they're combined like a triangle. Okay? You got 6 pairs, they're combined like a triangle. Or you can say a double triangle. One pointing up and one pointing down. That is the symbol of Lakshmi, known by everybody. Of course, we see it as a symbol of Radharani. So there it is. We want to count under not dividing. We want to count by putting things together, or seeing things come together, or observing things coming together. We don't want to discover something by tearing it apart, but putting it together. And of course, that togetherness, that actual togetherness is the heaviest. It's the heaviest energy. And when reflected in this world, it is the heaviest energy. It's the energy of love. The energy of love reflected in this world, no atom bomb, no fission bomb, no fusion bomb, no nothing can even equal or come near what love can do. Even if it's just your own love for your own self. It does so much. It's so powerful. So we look at this triangle and 1 dimension, 2 dimension, 3 dimension. Uh-oh, now we're trapped. I can't understand the 1 dimension. And here I've got 3-sided, and I got 2 dimension and 3 dimension. Oh, and then just to make it even more troublesome, I got the opposite. You cannot escape. Somebody may say, 3 dimensions, but you have to understand it's 6 dimensions too. Why? Because they declare positive, negative, but they make distinction. Positive, negative. Oh, negative is bad. Oh, and positive is good. No. If there's a nature there and it's coming from Krishna, they're both good. But that's how our mind has been convinced. Positive, negative, multiply, divide, all these things. Yeah, look up Pingala. He didn't invent the what is it called? The numerical system, the bio-numerical system, the binumerical system. He didn't invent it, but he presented it and explained it 1000 BC. In 1000 BC, he was already wanting to present this to the world. Of course, we know it's always been there because that's the construction of this world. It's the construction of this world. Yeah. In Messenger, there's a person who wrote an article about the the star. Of course, the Israelis want to use it as their star, the Star of David, but we don't have to get them to understand. But that star is Lakshmi's star. And the smaller triangles within that star are the combination. And it's always bilateral. Binumerical. The binumerical system. It's not one without another. It can't exist. Cannot exist. Life has to have those two parts. Even within me and even within anybody, it has to have those two parts. Can't be absent. Yeah. Oh. Anyway, little squirrel. Thank you, little squirrel. I hope you like your chapati. We got about 4 of them. And these guys don't even fear us at all. They go down into the ashram and take whatever they want. Even if I'm sitting in my room and I'm watching him, he's taking whatever he wants. He knows where I put something. Of course, I'm putting it for him. But I put something in the room at a certain place, and he knows. But he thinks he's stealing it from me. But I'm putting it there because I want to see him, They're the life. Yeah, they're life. They're... Okay. Our eyes have to love. I know it's difficult. Especially if you would be into that mess that's happening right now with Israel and everything. But still you have to dig deep and, protect yourself and everything, but dig deep and try to see the love. See how it's being manifested. Because they're only doing some work of cleanup. We've dirtied this world. Prabhupada put it out. He says because of the slaughter of so many cattle, the Vietnam War had to take place. And it's so many times said. Sukaracharya has to be there. Sukaracharya has the negative, as you would say, the negative. And Brihaspati. Today is Brihaspati's day, Thursday. So, and Brihaspati is the positive. So everybody likes Brihaspati, and everybody looks down on Sukaracharya, but inside they're both friends. And they just decide, okay, you take this side and I'll take that side. So Sukaracharya, he's the one who established the linga in the area. I don't know, I'm just guessing, but it should be the Mecca linga for the mother of Ravana. But he had the negative side. And Muhammad, he was not, he was, I'm not going to say stupid, illiterate, but he was a pujari. He knew all the worships. You had the Greeks come through, so he knew those worships. He had the Romans come through, he knew all those worships. The Kaaba was a meeting place of so many trade routes coming from so many places. So he was there more than 20 years. And in later age, he left there because he didn't want to worship so many gods. He wanted to worship just one God. He wanted to find that one God within all that mess. So he was speaking. He would go and sit and start speaking. But it was Sukaracharya telling him things. And the brother-in-law was the king of that area, just north of Mecca. And that brother-in-law put scribes. There was about 45 different scribes that anything that he says, start writing down. So that's how the Quran was written. He would just sit down, then all of a sudden in trance, start saying things. Being all told by Sukracharya. So of course, and why am I bringing this up? Because he used a Pingala system, the binary numerical system. That is the system that the Quran is always bragging about. Oh, you can't even find a syllable that doesn't fit into that binary. But Pingala, he came up with it and showed that it existed 1,000 year BC. So because he had been there, not only was he worshiping all the demigods of the Greeks, all the demigods of the Romans, but also all the demigods that would come from India, all the information that was coming from India. So the other two civilizations, they didn't have the binary numerical system. But here, in his worship, he came in contact with people that were using the binary. Oh, later on he writes the Quran in the binary system. For us, it's not any big deal. But the personalities, they say, oh, this book is better because it's balanced by Muhammad in so many ways. I'm really taking a long time, but I'm just tired from lifting that gate. I'm just sitting here. So just trying to make a point, the binary is our life. We're not going to change the world. It isn't going to go to the binary. It is in the decimal, and it's stuck in the decimal. And the Greeks knew that the decimal system was coming from the Babylonians. Now, if you look at Indian history and everything, and when they try to study Indian history, they can pretty well tell you when something happens. But when then you come over to the other side in that area, Babylonia was existing far before Noah came. Far before Noah came, it was already existing. And that Tower of Babel was not small. I wish I had the video. But there is a video out that gives all the description from scriptures of the Tower of Babel. It was huge. 100 square miles or meters, but very, very big. Very big. That's the area that it consumed. 100. And then while they were building it, they were up to around 200 kilometers or miles. I can't remember which they put. But even just to be a kilometer up is enough for me. So they were up to that when everything started falling apart. Just to, if you try to imagine it, just to get a brick up that far, what amazing feat it was. So I would say that the Tower of Babel, or Babylonian Tower, is mixed with Ravana's also making a tower. Because that's where he was supposed to go. His whole people were supposed to go there, so they've already been there before. So I will establish Sukracharya says, I will establish a Shivling, but not in this part, because this is Bharat, and this is for Sri Ram. I will establish it in a place where there is not Bharat and the influence of Bharat, and that is that area where you see, Sorry, kid. Okay. Yeah, where you see the Israelites are at, Jordan River's there, and the Iran, Iraq, and everything. All that is their area. So only a person like Ravana could have done that. I can't see anybody be able to do such a thing. So they'd already been there. They knew the area. It's not that Sukracharya is talking to the mother and she doesn't even know where this place is. No. They were pretty well knowing where it was. They had a tunnel going to Brazil. So they knew Brazil. They knew a tunnel, a tunnel going to Brazil. Kumbhakarna came by tunnel. He didn't swim across the ocean or boat across the ocean. He just had to come through in the tunnel to Sri Lanka. So that's another thing to think about, So this is you could call it the Ravana system, the decimal system. I'm not saying hate anything or dislike anything, but understand something and understand its nature. That's what, You don't hate a snake for biting. You love the snake. You love it. And you don't hate anything, but it has a nature, and that tells you what you should do. Should I embrace it or should I stay away from it? That's the way to do things. My love is still there, but I don't know whether to love it in a way of embracing it or love it in a way of staying clear of it. Yeah. That's how it comes out. I'm talking and I'm trying to understand, because it's difficult to understand how this Anu, how all of a sudden two come together, how they make two more pairs, and how they make the flip side too, the flip side, and that makes the two triangles, one pointing up, one pointing down. Very difficult to understand. And within them, they always make these little triangles. That's actually the material world. Within them, within that closure, that is the indication of the material world. And it is totally, binumerical. Binary. Yeah. And if anybody else has a more description of the binary system, and that gives a clearer picture, you can send it to me so I can understand a little bit more. Because it's the creation of the different, different illusions. It's the basis of the different illusions. In total, it's the three dimension. It's the three dimension. But everything having its pair, there has to be the opposite of the three dimension. One three dimension is one way, and one three dimension is opposite of the other in some way. And then they're combined to make the whole. So you don't want to tear it apart, you want to understand it. And you want it to help you progress. I don't destroy something and think it's going to help me progress. No, I want to understand it and then beg for its helping me out of it. You're casting an illusion on me, but I want you to please cast it so I can understand. I better stop. This will cost me a fortune. Probably 2 days of data here. Okay, Jai. Jai Kartik season ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj ki Jai. and all the other Gaudiya Vaishnavas, because there's plenty of, this year is beautiful. If you were to see all the preachers that were out there, woof, so many Gaudiya Vaishnavas were out there. They were all over the world. Many. Oh. Bhakti Vichar, Vishnu Maharaj was out there. Bodhayan Maharaj was out there. So many. I can't even imagine all of them. And even Uttama Krishnadas, who's not sannyas yet, he was out there preaching. He was out there, and he even left his preaching only to arrive right when the Kartik season is going. I hope to see him while he's here. Okay, thank you very much.